Since being taken over by London American owners, Birmingham City have been embarrassing on the pitch. They sacked John Eustace while sitting 6th in the championship table. They have then gone on to have 3 managers since the sacking in Wayne Rooney, Tony Mowbray and Gary Rowett, who have all struggled at the club. And this has massively affected their performance on the pitch, as now the Blues face a real possibility of playing League One football next season, as they currently sit in the championship relegation zone. So I think it's safe to say that the new owners at Birmingham City have got it all wrong on the pitch this season, but we are going to lend them a helping hand as we are going to jump into FC24, take charge of Birmingham City, and what better way to save them than by bringing Champions League glory to St Andrews. And if you enjoyed the content, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel, as it really does help me out. We are well on the way to 3,000 subscribers on the channel. So let's get into FC24 and get Birmingham City saved. So this is the Birmingham City team we've loaded into in FC24, and I have to say it doesn't actually look too bad on initial glance. There's actually some pretty decent players in the starting 11, like Bellick at centre defensive midfield, Dembele on the left and Ethan Laird at right back. However, the glaring weak point of this Birmingham City team is its defence, as the highest rated defender at the club is 68 rated, and that is League One standard. And for once, I actually like the formation we've loaded into. We're actually going to stick with the 4-2-3-1 formation for this rebuild. Now, just in case you don't already know, we do always disable the first summer transfer window, so we are stuck with this team till January the 1st at the very least. And when we arrive at January the 1st, we'll have £7 million in the bank to bring in some players. And I want to bring in 2 new players in January, one being a new centre-back, as they're so low rated. And I'm also looking for a new goalkeeper as well, as John Ruddy is 70 rated and 36 years old. This guy's an absolute fossil, and he definitely needs to be replaced in the January transfer window. But one thing this Birmingham City team does have going for it is youth. There's so many young, high potential players at this club already, and I'm really hoping we can see players like Jordan James and George Hall reach our end game squad and maybe even start in the Champions League final. And the tactical vision we're going to go for with this Birmingham City team is actually going to be the tiki-taka vision, because I want to win the Champions League with Birmingham playing a very attractive style of football. And to be honest with you boys, we've not used tiki-taka for absolutely ages. So we've picked the starting 11 and the formation, gone over the finances and picked a tactical vision. There's nothing left to do but simulate forward to January the 1st and start bringing some players through the door at Birmingham City. So we've arrived at January the 1st and we can finally bring some players through the door. And I'm just going to let you know, lads, throughout the entirety of this rebuild, we will not be stopping in January unless there is transfer activity taking place. In future seasons, we'll just be going straight through to the end of the season. And on the run up to January, we did make quite a few sales. John Ruddy left for West Brom for 270 grand. Lucas Jukovic went to Aruka for 360 grand. Gary Gardner joined Racing Deferral for 410 grand. Scott Hogan moved to Sunny Tenerife for 640 grand. Neil Etheridge went to Nashville SC for 270 grand. And we loaned out 2 youngsters in Alfie Chang to Claremont Foot and Ramel Donovan to Cambridge United, leaving us with 8 million in the bank. And looking at the team, our defenders have actually had a really good growth spurt, all being 70 rated, but we do not have a single goalkeeper at the club, as Sunjic is currently in goal. So our entire resource pool is now going into bringing us a new first choice goalkeeper. And the goalkeeper we have identified to bring to Birmingham City is none other than my favourite goalkeeper, James Trafford of Burnley. He's 72 rated, 21-year-old, got amazing stats, and he's only going to cost us between 5.4 and 6.7 million, meaning we can definitely make the deal happen. We are definitely bringing him to St Andrews. And we have made James Trafford a blue nose for just £5.5 million. And that leaves us with £3 million in the bank, which we're actually going to save for next season. So after the signing of Trafford, this is how the team is looking to finish off season 1, and it is looking a little bit stronger on paper. We've had quite a lot of growth throughout the entire team, which I'm really happy about. And as of right now, we're currently mid-table in the championship, well clear of the relegation zone, which is a massive positive. Let's now simulate forward straight through to the end of season 1, and I'm just hoping for more of the same. Let's cement ourselves in mid-table this season. So we've arrived at the end of season 1, and we have had an excellent first season as Birmingham Boss, as we have finished 10th in the championship, achieving a top half finish. However, we have got work to do if we want to reach the playoffs, as we were a whopping 16 points off of them. But in real life, Birmingham are potentially getting relegated, and in our first season as Birmingham Boss, we've managed to keep Birmingham in the championship comfortably. And with the right additions in season 2, maybe we can push for a playoff place. In the FA Cup, we made it to the 5th round, but then we were knocked out in a Midlands derby by Wolves 4-2. So this is how the Birmingham City team is looking at the end of season 1, and it is definitely looking much stronger than at the start of season 1. We don't have a single player below 70 rated in the starting 11, showing we're making massive progress on the pitch. But going into season 2, we definitely need a new centre-back to place Iwu, that's how you pronounce that name, and Jay Stansfield, as both of their loans are expiring. and we are not going to be making either of them permanent. And if we have any change left over from bringing in a centre-back and a striker, we are going to go for a new right midfielder as well. Now, our best player this season was in fact Jay Stansfield, who got 16 goals and 9 assists. So you're probably thinking, Scott, why are you not bringing him in on a permanent deal? I just personally think that Stansfield will cap out at about 80 rated. But going into season 2, we are definitely changing our striker options, and we are saying a permanent goodbye to Jay Stansfield. So that's season 1 in the books. Let's get into season 2 and try and get Birmingham City closer to them playoff positions. So we have arrived in season 2 and we have got £11 million to improve the team. So as we've already identified, bringing in a striker is the most important piece of our transfer business in this window, and I've identified an absolute star in Liam Delap of Manchester City. He's 21-year-old, 74 rated, got excellent stats. However, this is going to be a pricey deal, as we are going to have to fork out between 7.8 and 9.7 million pounds for the man. But I genuinely think Liam Delap could be the difference from us being mid-table or getting in the playoffs. So let's get into St Andrews. And we have completed the signing of Liam Delap for just 7.5 million pounds, but this has decimated our transfer budget, as we've only got 738 grand in the bank, meaning we're gonna have to sell some players in this window. And we have completed a double raid of Manchester City's academy, as we have brought Callum Doyle to Birmingham on a 2-year loan with an optional future fee of 6.4 million pounds. He's 20-year-old, 74 rated, got amazing stats, and this is an outstanding pickup. And in 2 years' time, to get a player of this quality for under his market value, this is a serious piece of business, boys. And we will be converting Callum Doyle from a left back to a centre back, as looking at his stats and work rates, he is much more suited to being a centre back than a full back. So we have converted Callum Doyle from a left back to a centre back, and he has jumped all the way up to 77 rated. Just a reminder, boys, we have just signed him on a 2-year loan with an optional fee of 6.4 million pounds. Get on the 2-year loans, boys. I can't stress it enough. They will help you out so much in your rebuilds. And we have had some very welcome good news, as we have won our pre-season tournament, adding a much needed 2.6 million pounds to our transfer kitty. And we've also cleared out some of the deadwood at the football club, amassing a nice amount of transfer budget, and I'll run you through the outgoings right now. Tyler Roberts has joined Luton Town for £2 million. P.C. Anderson has joined Royal Union St Gilloise for £1.2 million. Marcel Oakley has joined Dundee FC for 340 grand. Pike Sung-ho has joined Al Ahly for £5.5 million, as we do not play with central midfielders. And that means we have now got £11 million once again in our transfer budget. And looking at our extremely knackered team, I think a right midfielder is the glaringly obvious position we have to improve. And the right midfielder we have identified to bring to St Andrews is Afonso Moriera of Sporting CP. He's 19 years old, 73 rated, got very decent stats for a 19-year-old, and he's very affordable, coming in at anywhere between 5.9 and 7.4 million pounds. So let's get this young superstar brought to St Andrews. So Moriera is officially a blue nose, and we got him at an excellent price of 5.5 million pounds, which means we do still currently have 5 million pounds in the bank, but I'm going to save this money, as I don't want to just spend money for the sake of spending money. And if saving this £5 million, we can then cover contracts, youth incomings, and some new coaches being brought through the door as well. And after the incoming of Moriera, this is how the Birmingham City team will look to take us through to the end of season 2, and it's looking much stronger on paper. And for this season, my personal goal is to get into the playoffs. So let's now simulate forward straight through to the end of the season 2 and see if we did manage to do that. So we've arrived at the end of season 2, and if you remember, the goal I set was to sneak into the playoff places. We've done more than sneak, lads, as we narrowly missed out on automatic promotion, finishing 3rd in the championship on 89 points. We were 7 points behind Leicester City, who unfortunately just outclassed us towards the end of the season. And this does mean that we will take on Southampton over 2 legs with a chance at a Wembley final against either Burnley or Luton. So it's time for the moment of truth, boys. Have we been promoted to the Premier League? We have. We beat Luton 3-0 at Wembley to get back to the Premier League with Birmingham City. And lads, we absolutely battered Southampton 5-0, and by the looks of things, Luton absolutely battered Burnley as well, 4-0 over 2 legs to set up a playoff final, which we absolutely breezed. 3-0 to the Blues, and we are back in the Premier League in season 3. And we have genuinely had such a good season, lads. We got to the 6th round of the FA Cup, which is the quarterfinals, where we lost to Liverpool 3-2. Our performance on the pitch this season has been absolutely outstanding, and when you see the team, you'll understand why. This is how the team is looking at the end of season 2, and it's looking looking so strong, boys. Trafford, Doyle and Delap all over 80 rated, with Moriera knocking on the door at 79 and Laird at 78, not far behind. There is not many weaknesses at all in this team, and it's clear to see why it got promoted and got so far in the FA Cup. But as we now know, we are a Premier League side and we need to get some Premier League players through the door, and that means a new left midfielder to replace Dembele and a centre-back to replace Sanderson. As at 74 rated, these two guys are not good enough to compete in the Premier League, and I really don't want to have any relegation fears in Season 3. And in terms of stats, what a signing Liam Delap turned out to be. We paid 7.5 million for his services, and he got 43 goal involvements in 55 games and grew by 7 overall to 81 rated. This guy was on fire for us this season. And before we progress into Season 3, I just want to show you this man. We've currently got Callum Doyle on a 2-year loan from Man City, changing from a left back to a centre back, and he has grown to 81 rated. Now, at the start of Season 3, we will be making this deal permanent for £6.4 million. £6.4 million for an 81 rated 21-year-old centre back. That is an absolute steal, and I'm going to say it one more time: get on the 2-year loans. So we've arrived in Season 3 and our first season in the Premier League with Birmingham City, and we have got 53 million to improve our squad, and you know what the first order of business is. We are settling the buy option for Callum Doyle, and we are bringing him to Birmingham for just £6.4 million. And what a signing, boys. 81 rated, £6.4 million, job done. Well, the first player we've identified to bring to Birmingham City in Season 3 is an excellent ball-playing centre-back, and that is Micah Marmol of Las Palmas. He's 24-year-old, 80 rated, got really well-rounded stats for a centre-back, and as his contract is expiring in 11 months' time, we can get him for anywhere between 19.9 and 24.9 million pounds, which is an absolute bargain for a player of this quality. And we have managed to bring Marmol to the club for just 19.5 million pounds. And after the signing of Marmol, we do still have 23 million pounds in the bank to bring in a left-sided midfielder. So also in this transfer window, we are in the need of a left-sided midfield player, and we have identified Simon Adingra of Brighton and Hove Albion. He's 23-year-old, 78 rated, got really well-rounded stats, and because once again his contract is expiring in 11 months' time, we can sign him for anywhere between 13.6 and 17 million pounds, which I actually think is a major steal. So we are definitely bringing him to St Andrews this summer, and we have brought Simon Adingra to St Andrews for just 14 million pounds, and we've still got 11 million pounds in the bank after this signing. And there's one very special signing I want to make before we go into Season 3. There is absolutely no way I can rebuild Birmingham City without bringing back one of the Bellingham brothers, so we are going to sign Job Bellingham from Sunderland. He's 72 rated, 19-year-old, decent stats, high work rates. Now we will have to move quick, as Brighton have had a bid accepted for him, and it's looking like Sunderland will want anywhere in the region of £5 million, and we are going to bring this man back to Birmingham City. And we have brought Job Bellingham home for just £4.3 million. And after the signing of Bellingham, we're left with £6 million in the bank, so that is our transfer window finished. And this is the Birmingham City team that will take us into Season 3 and our first back in the Premier League. And I genuinely believe we've built a really strong team here at Birmingham, full of young, high potential players. And I've got more than enough confidence that this team can stay up this season. There's been no major outgoings in this window. We haven't sold anyone at all. We've only loaned out some youth players. So let's now simulate forward straight through to the end of Season 3, and I'm hoping to see Birmingham City well away from that relegation zone. So we've arrived at the end of Season 3, and we have been absolutely outstanding this season in the Premier League, as we have actually finished 6th in our first season in the Premier League, getting 18 wins from 38 games, finishing on 64 points, just 3 points outside of the European places. And do you know what? If we bring the right personnel through the door here at St Andrews, we could genuinely get top 4 next season. And in the FA Cup, we made it to the 5th round where Manchester United knocked us out 1-0. Unlucky with the draw there, and I'm hoping to go even further next year in this competition. So this is how the squad is looking at the end of Season 3, and would you actually believe that this squad of players just 3 seasons ago was a relegation threatened Championship side? We have now got an 87 rated striker in Liam Delap, who's one of the best strikers in the world right now. We've got multiple high 80s rated players like Trafford, Doyle, Marmol, Moriera and Andringa, with Hall also going to 82 rated, who's actually a homegrown player. The squad is looking absolutely brilliant on paper, but there are some glaring weak points in the team, and that is our left back in Lee Buchanan and our set defensive midfielder in Bakuna, both of which will be getting replaced in Season 4. And in terms of stats, Liam Delap was outstanding for us, getting 24 goals and 8 assists in 47 games, growing by 6 overalls to 87 rated. Simon Adingra Adingra's first season as a Birmingham City player was excellent as well, getting 19 goals and 5 assists. Reminder, he cost us just £14 million. And before we get into season 4, one quick outgoing: Alex Pritchard will be released at the end of his contract as he is just not good enough. So we have arrived in season 4 and we have got £54 million in the bank. And because we finished 6th in season 3, we are actually in the UEFA Europa League this season, and our goal is just to reach the group stage, which we should definitely do. So as we know, we are in the market for a new set of defensive midfielder in this window, and there was only one man I wanted to bring to Birmingham City in this window, and that is Adam Wharton, who's currently playing for Wolverhampton Wanderers. He has been absolutely outstanding since signing for Crystal Palace in real life. He's 22-year-old, 79 rated, got loads of play styles, he's got very well-rounded stats, and coming in at just 24.2 to 30.3 million pounds, we can definitely bring him to St Andrews, and I think this would be an amazing signing. And for 26.7 million pounds, we have brought our primary target, Adam Wharton, to St Andrews. And we are now left with 22 million pounds in the bank to bring in a left back, but we have got some players leaving the club. Now, on the topic of outgoings, we have had some players leave the club, and I'll run you through them right now. Quick note, we have sold 1 or 2 youth players for about £4 million total, but we're not going to run through that as that's been done off camera. The first team player we've sold is Emmanuel Longello, who we've sold to Aruca for 1.2 million, and he is followed out the door by Juninho Bacuna, who's joined Fenerbahce for 8.7 million, leaving us with 33 million in the bank to bring in a left back. And the left back we have identified to bring to Birmingham City is Brighton and Hove Albion defender Pervis Estepinian. He's 83 rated, 28-year-old, got really well-rounded stats, but it's going to be a very costly deal as Fiorentina are also in for him. And lads, we could not afford wages with Pervis Estepinian, so we are back in the market for a new left back. So we've taken a little step back and reassessed our transfer strategy for our new left back incoming, and we went for an experienced Edin Estepinian who wanted massive wages and we just could not afford him. So we're going to rein it in a bit, bring in a player who's not as well developed but who won't cost us anywhere near as much money, and that man is Kasum Outara of Tottenham Hotspur. He's 21-year-old, 77 rated, got pretty decent stats, and he's only going to cost us between 15.8 and 19.7 million pounds, so he's a lot more affordable. If I'm honest, he'll probably grow to a higher rating than Estepinian will as well, and I think this is a much more sensible transfer for where we're currently at. And Outara much more affordable at just 16 million pounds. And after the signing of Outara, we're left with 16 million pounds in the bank. But I think looking at that team, 16 million pounds isn't going to bring anyone into the football club who actually breaks into that team. And looking at our bench is fairly strong as well, with a lot of good young players on there and players who can come on and influence games. So if I'm honest, boys, I'm going to save that 16 million for renewing contracts, coaches, youth players, and save it towards next season's budget as well. I genuinely think we've got a real good chance of getting into the top 4 and maybe even potentially winning the Europa League. And speaking of the Europa League, let's check our group right now. Our Europa League group will consist of Braga, Louvain, and Apoel FC. Do you know what, boys? I think we've got a real chance of going far in this competition. We should definitely be qualifying from that group. Let's now simulate forward straight through to the end of season 4. Hopefully, we've got into the top 4 with Birmingham City and achieve Champions League football. And you know what? I'd like to see us have a really good run in this Europa League. So we've arrived at the end of season 4 and Champions League was the goal. Champions League is what we have got, as we have finished 3rd in the Premier League on 75 points, a whopping 12 points clear of 5th place Manchester United, winning 22 of our 38 games. We had an absolutely outstanding season on the pitch, and Birmingham City are playing Champions League football in season 5. And we made the quarterfinals of the FA Cup, where unfortunately once again we come up against Manchester United and they smashed us 3-0. And we did not make the Europa League final. RB Leipzig were the eventual winners. We did make it to the quarterfinals, where unfortunately we just found Arsenal to be too much for us as they beat us 6-4 over 2 legs. So this is how the Birmingham City team is looking at the end of season 4, and it's looking extremely strong on paper. We've got our first 90 rated player in Liam Delap, and Adam Wharton had a brilliant season, going by 4 overalls to 83 rated, showing that our faith to sign him has been massively repaid. Looking at the team, there's only one player under 80 rated in Christian Bielik, and he will be being sold in the upcoming transfer window, and we are in the market for a new world-class set of defensive midfielder. And if we have any leftover money, we might look to bring in a new right back to replace Ethan Lowe. His growth has really hit a standstill, but I don't mind spending all of our budget bringing in a world-class CDM, because that could be the difference between us actually winning the Premier League or maybe even getting into the latter stages of the Champions League. And in terms of stats, once again, Liam Delap outstanding, 30 goals and 7 assists. But I want to talk about Simon Adingra, who was outstanding once again, 26 goals and 7 assists from the left side of the field. That is outstanding. So let's get into season 5, boys, and get stuck into the Champions League. So we've arrived in season 5 and it's time to spend the big boy money, as we have got £159 million in the bank. And as we know, the primary target we want to bring in this window is a new set of defensive midfielder, and we have identified Moises Caicedo of FC Barcelona. He's 25-year-old, 86 rated, got outstanding stats and loads of play styles, and we can get him very, very cheap, anywhere between 67.4 and 84.3 million pounds, as his contract is expiring in in 11 months' time. Let's waste no more time. Let's bring Caicedo to Birmingham City. And what a signing this is, boys. Caicedo is now a Blue Nose and he's cost us just £80 million. And that leaves us with 72 million in the bank, meaning we can definitely bring in a right back in this window. And for our final incoming of this summer transfer window, we desperately need a new right back, and we are going to bring in Lucharel Gertrude of Atletico Club. For he's 26-year-old, 84 rated, and he's going to cost us anywhere between 40.8 and 51 million pounds, meaning he's very affordable and is a massive upgrade on Ethan Laird. And Lucharel Gertrude is a Blue Nose of 48 million, leaving us with 16 million in the bank, meaning our transfer window is officially finished. And that means this will be the Birmingham City team to take us into season 5, and it's absolutely undeniable that this team is a top-end Champions League level side. We're absolutely full to the brim with world-class players, and I really do expect us to get to the latter stages of the Champions League this season. So before we simulate forward to the end of season 5, there's a small matter of checking our first ever Champions League group, and we have got RB Leipzig, Sporting Lisbon and Hajduk Split. It is definitely not an easy group, boys. We are definitely going to have to be our best to get through it. So there's nothing left to do now but simulate forward straight through to the end of season 5, and let's see how the Blues got on. So we're arrived at the end of season 5, and we have once again finished 3rd in the Premier League, this time though on 77 points, losing only 5 of our 38 games, winning 22. But Arsenal absolutely smashed it this season. They finished 8 points clear of us. They deservedly won the Premier League, but it is progress made on the pitch once again, and we are edging closer and closer to our first Premier League title. In the FA Cup, we made it all the way to the semi-finals, where we just got smashed by Manchester City. You have this really bad habit of bottling it when we get to the big moments in competitions, and I'm really hoping we can iron that out in season 6. And in the Champions League, it was semi-final heartbreak for us as we were beaten 6-3 over 2 legs by Barcelona, and we absolutely bottled it in the semis as we got beat 4-1 at home. That is just not good enough at all. And to be honest, lads, looking at the team, we probably should have got to the final this season, as this team is looking stacked on paper. Delap is now 92 rated. We've got Caicedo 88, Moliera 89, Trafford at 87, Adingra at 87. We've genuinely got a Champions League winning level side here. We are missing a superstar, and trust me, you will love who I've got my eyes on in season 6. In terms of stats, Liam Delap, once again our best player, 37 goals, 5 assists in 59 games, and Simon Adingra is an absolute hidden gem in this game. 28 goals and 9 assists on the left side of our midfield. That is an absolutely insane return. So let's now get into season 6, and I want to bring a certain superstar back to Birmingham City. We've arrived in season 6 and we have got £220 million in the bank, and there's only one player I want to bring to Birmingham City in this transfer window.
Is Bellingham, is this his moment? Deflection! Oh, what a moment for Jude Bellingham! Players, can he slip it down for Morante on the right side of the box? He can. Cut back for Jude Bellingham! Get it!
You know, whatever happens, I'm always a Blue. As I said, this is my club. Love the club to bits, and I'd die for this club.
And that man is none other than Jude Bellingham of Real Madrid. He came through the Birmingham City Academy. They retired his shirt number as the money from his sale saved the club. And now at 25-year-old, 92 rated, the best stats you could ever ask for, high work rates, we are going to bring Jude Bellingham home to Birmingham City, and it's going to use up a massive amount of our budget, as he's going to cost anywhere between 113 and 141 million. But I'm willing to pay whatever they want to bring our star boy back home. And lads, it's probably my favourite signing of FC24 so far. Jude Bellingham is back as a Blue Nose, and we have paid a whopping £129 million to bring him back to St Andrews. And when I started this rebuild, I did have a little goal in the back of my mind to bring Joe Bellingham and Jude Bellingham back to Birmingham City, and we have done just that with Joe Bellingham and Jude back at Birmingham. And now let's have a real go at winning the Premier League or the Champions League. Let's go for it this season, boys. And with Bellingham being our only incoming of this summer transfer window, this is how the team is looking going into season 6. And I am absolutely over the moon with how this team's looking. I fully expect Caicedo and Moliera to join Bellingham and Delap in the 90s this season. We've got such a good squad, lads. And if we don't go far in the Champions League, I'm going to be absolutely gutted. And before we progress on any further with this rebuild, there's one small thing we have to do. We are unretiring the number 22 shirt of Birmingham City, and the shirt is going back to its owner, Jude Bellingham. And while we're at it, Bellingham is now the captain of Birmingham City as well. So our transfer window is done and our Champions League group is in, and it's much more difficult this year with Borussia Dortmund, AS Monaco and Royal Antwerp in our group. But our squad, boys, should absolutely be getting through this group, and I fully expect us to. Let's now simulate forward straight through to the end of season 6, and I'm hoping to see Birmingham in the Champions League final and with some silverware in our trophy cabinet. So we have arrived at the end of season 6, and we have finally done it. We have finally won the Premier League on 93 points. Absolute domination. We only lost 3 out of our opening 38 games. That is absolutely insane. And after 6 long seasons, Birmingham City are the champions of England. And we have also won the FA Cup, boys. We smashed Newcastle United 4-1 in the final to add our second bit of silverware to the trophy cabinet. And the good news just keeps rolling in for us as we are actually in the Champions League final, and we are taking on Borussia Dortmund, who are in our group. So we finished second in our group behind Borussia Dortmund, obviously, as we're playing them in the final. In the round of 16, we beat PSG 6-3 over 2 legs to set up a tie with Milan, who we beat 5-1. We then went on to beat Real Madrid very narrowly 4-3 to take on Borussia Dortmund in the final. I tell you what, we had a seriously hard run to the final this time round, and I've got a lot of confidence we can blow Dortmund away in the final. So this is the Birmingham City team that has got us to a Champions League final, and it's looking absolutely stacked on paper. We've got 4 players over 90 rated in Caicedo, Moriera, Bellingham and Delap. No player at all in the starting 11 below 86 rated, which goes to show the squad is so strong. And it's mad to think that Jude Bellingham's in our team at 93 rated, and he's not even the superstar of the team, as Liam Delap is actually 93 rated as well. That's insane. So in terms of stats, Liam Delap, once again, wow, this guy is insane. 42 goals and 4 assists in 57 games. Incredible. And Jude Bellingham just oozed class at Birmingham City, getting 30 goals and 14 assists. Now all that's left to do is take on Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League final at the Civitas Metropolitano, and this should be a cracker. So here we go, boys. Champions League final time. We are taking on Dortmund, and this is going to be an absolute cracker. Adingra, we're absolutely all over them. Chipped in. Get there. Oh, Delap. Oh my God. We are knocking on the Dortmund door. Oh, what a tackle. Wharton. Delap, make a run. Put it in front of him. What a ball. Oh my God. Oh my God. Cabell just absolutely killed his defender. A few minutes of this game. Bellingham. Oh, we can't, can we? Bellingham. Oh my God. I thought that we're just going to nestle into the side netting. And we're 25 minutes into this game, lads, and we are well on top against Dortmund. They've not actually had a shot on goal yet. And Bellingham through the gap. Oh my God, please. Bellingham, please. No. He's missed. No, the fairy tale ending. Up towards Moriera. We're absolutely all over these men here. Delap. Oh my God. That must have been 99 shot power. Oh my God. We have dominated this first half. So many chances, and it's still 0-0. This is the most one-sided Champions League final I've ever played on FC24. And Geertruida can bounce away on the wing. Come on. Oh, I can see Delap. Delap's in acres. He's got to score. Oh my God. He went for the bicycle kick. Liam Delap. Your name are in lights, lad, and you've missed. Moriera. This has got to be the goal. He's saved it. Oh my God, Cabell. You are a joke, mate. Caicedo. Wharton. Does it in? Oh, Delap. Yes, finally. What a ball by Adam Wharton. And Liam Delap, one of our star men, makes it 1-0. Oh, right place, right time for Delap. Makes up for that scissor kick he missed. But what? There's an absolute off the ball attack there. What a pass that is by Wharton, curling back towards Delap, and he plants the ball under Cabell. There's no saving that one. That is no more than we deserve, and it is 1-0 to Birmingham City. Bellingham. Oh my God, Bellingham, that's amazing. Through the gap. Oh my God, Jude Bellingham. He's not going to miss this time. He puts it in the top corner, and Jude Bellingham, on his return to Birmingham City, has just surely scored the goal to confirm Champions League glory for the Blue Noses. And it's a brilliant individual run. We get past all their men and we just plant it into the top corner with Jude Bellingham. And surely now the Champions League trophy is coming to St Andrews. We have won the Champions League with Birmingham City. We have absolutely battered Borussia Dortmund in this final. The scoreline definitely does not reflect the game, as we had so many chances, but in the end it's a Liam Delap and Jude Bellingham double that has won the Champions League for Birmingham City. And just look at this. Jude Bellingham, on his return to Birmingham City, is going to lift the trophy for his boyhood club, the club he left at 17, and Jude Bellingham lifts the Champions League trophy for Birmingham City, and that is another rebuild successfully boxed off. off. And I really did enjoy this one, boys, bringing the Bellingham brothers back to Birmingham. I just want to say a massive thank you for watching the rebuild. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please make sure you leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel, as it really does help me out. And I will see you next week when we head back to the Championship to rebuild another struggling side.